It really seemed like Meghan was trying to recreate things that she had seen in the press involving Diana even before this, though, which correlates with the whole cosplay situation, copying outfits frequently and copying similar poses quite often.
Very much so.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
Meghan Markle, following in Princess Diana's footsteps, or trying to recreate her legacy. The similarities have sparked a global debate, and some royal experts believe they're impossible to ignore. Princess Diana remains one of the most influential and admired members of the British royal family decades after her passing.
As we all know, Princess Diana was well-liked, even loved by the public. By the end of her life, she was getting very positive press much of the time. There was a lot of interest and speculation about her personal life that may not have felt quite as positive. But in general, she enjoyed pretty positive press and was like the most photographed woman in the world at the time.
Her humanitarian work, her connection with ordinary people, and her willingness to challenge royal traditions created a legacy that still shapes public conversations today. Because of that, almost every modern royal is, at some point, compared to Diana, especially Meghan Markle. Since marrying Prince Harry in 2018, Meghan has frequently been linked to Diana in media headlines, documentaries, and online discussions.
And I believe that Meghan, and probably Harry too, thought if they did things the way Diana did in terms of how she used media or her relationship with the media, that then they would have the adoration that Diana did. And yes, I do think that Meghan cooked up this idea or plan and convinced Harry that it's what Diana would have wanted, or that it's how Diana would have done things. Or maybe what Diana whispered in Meghan's ear. Remember that rumor? That Meghan was telling Harry that Diana was speaking to her during yoga?
Some commentators believe Meghan has consciously embraced parts of Diana's public image, while others argue the similarities are natural because both women faced intense media attention and became outsiders within the royal institution. Today, we're taking a balanced look at why so many people believe Meghan Markle is trying to follow Princess Diana's path, and why others strongly disagree. Before we begin, it's important to note that many of these comparisons are based on public opinion and media analysis rather than confirmed intentions from Meghan herself. One of the biggest reasons for the comparisons is Meghan's humanitarian work.
I even think this moment in their engagement announcement, where they were kind of across the pond from the press, that it was an attempt at emulating Diana's relationship with the media, of being sort of shy of the press, I believe is what Meghan was trying to convey with this photograph here. And these photographs from their engagement announcement, I think Meghan was kicking things off on this foot on purpose to try to seem sort of shy to the press, the way Diana was known as being a shy die at the beginning.
Before joining the royal family, Meghan had already worked with several charities and served as an advocate for women's rights and gender equality. After becoming the Duchess of Sussex, she continued supporting charitable causes, including organizations focused on education, mental health, and community welfare. Princess Diana was famous for transforming the role of a royal by interacting directly with people affected by homelessness, AIDS, landmine injuries, and many other humanitarian issues.
Public interest in Diana and the media interactions that she had were complete anomalies. She was alive during that sweet spot where media was getting faster and more capable of reporting on celebrities, royalty, and public figures.
Diana often chose causes that were considered unconventional for members of the royal family. Supporters of Meghan argue that continuing charitable work is simply part of her personal values, while critics believe the similarities naturally invite comparisons to Diana. Another reason the comparisons continue is Meghan's relationship with the media.
So why does it matter if Meghan and Harry have been trying to copy Princess Diana's approach to media? That they have attempted, poorly, to emulate her media relationship? Well, because in part it explains a lot of their actions, and if true, would show that there were motives beyond what was apparent and on the surface at the time. It was a strategy that didn't work, it actually backfired, but a strategy nonetheless. No wonder there were tensions. From the outside, we've seen countless puzzling choices from Harry and Meghan that made little to no sense. But when you look through this history of their media presence and how they interact with the public through the media and whatnot, through the lens of Meghan following Diana's life in real time through the media when she was younger, you really can't ignore the parallels of how Meghan chose to engage with the public and the media, as well as the problems that went along with it, which included bad acting. You really can't unsee it once you see it.
Princess Diana openly discussed how relentless media attention affected her mental health and personal life. Paparazzi followed her almost everywhere, making her one of the most photographed women in history.
So they've become less interesting and there's less mystery about them, so it's less exciting to hear about their everyday lives. It's less exciting to see paparazzi shots unless it's something sort of out of the norm or particularly odd or even dramatic sometimes, unfortunately. The technology shift alone has been so large and significant between when Diana was alive to when now that Harry and Meghan, ever since their engagement, the differences in technology are huge between those two eras of time. That alone was going to prevent Harry and Meghan from ever creating a similar dynamic with the media as Diana did, because it's just a completely different landscape and situation.
Meghan has also spoken extensively about media scrutiny. During interviews, documentaries, and Prince Harry's memoir-related publicity, the couple described how negative press coverage affected their emotional well-being. Prince Harry himself has repeatedly connected Meghan's experience with that of his mother. He has said publicly that he fears history repeating itself, referring to the intense media pressure Diana experienced. Because Harry often draws this comparison himself, many headlines naturally continue linking Meghan and Diana. Fashion is another area where these comparisons frequently appear.
I wonder why would Harry and Meghan, or Meghan specifically, want a similar experience? Because I do think that this was more Meghan's idea. Whether or not she outright told Harry, oh, we should try to copy Diana's relationship with the media, I don't know. I doubt it. I think she probably wanted to emulate Diana's experience to try, as a means to an end, to try to get public affection, and just led Harry down the path, advising him poorly to do things this certain way. It's easy to find a lot of reasons to not want the same experience that Diana had.
Royal watchers have pointed out occasions when Meghan has worn outfits similar in style, color, or design to clothing once worn by Princess Diana. Sometimes these similarities involve white suits, off-the-shoulder dresses, oversized blazers, or casual jeans and shirt combinations. Fashion experts often debate whether these are intentional tributes or simply examples of timeless fashion trends.
And so when you think of it through that angle, it explains why Meghan might want to recreate similar media relationships as Diana had, in that Meghan craves that attention and craves that approval. Maybe she thought that by trying to manufacture similar circumstances with the media as Diana had, she would find herself in a similar position.
Many members of the royal family have honored Diana through clothing choices over the years. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has also been praised for wearing outfits inspired by Diana, showing that fashion tributes are not unique to Meghan. Another frequently discussed topic is public speaking.
She was shy at first, and then she was harassed and followed constantly. She was overwhelmed with reporters many times. And then she formed some relationships with a few journalists, and she did begin leaking information to the press herself. Things like tipping off where she was going to be so as to be photographed, or even leaking stories occasionally. But primarily, she learned how to direct the interest in her towards events or causes, despite a lot of personal dramas occupying the headlines, which surely was unpleasant.
Princess Diana gradually became more confident speaking publicly about difficult issues, including mental health, eating disorders, and humanitarian crises. Meghan has similarly used interviews, podcasts, speeches, and public appearances to discuss mental health, racial equality, female empowerment, and online harassment.
When it comes to the Sussexes, specifically Meghan, it appears almost like she went through a checklist. and rushed through it in like 2 years. While Diana had taken 16 years to navigate and develop her media and public relations, Meghan gave it 2 years initially. First, appear innocent and shy. Remember this phase of Meghan always putting her hand over her mouth? It felt out of place and contrived at the time, and looking back on it, when you compare it to how we were first introduced to Diana, if we're looking at it through this theory, it makes a lot of sense. After Meghan tried to emulate the shy Di image, she rapidly lost interest in that, evidently. Meghan tried to move into the next phase very, very quickly.
Some commentators believe this reflects Diana's willingness to discuss personal struggles openly, while others point out that many public figures today speak candidly about these topics. One of the strongest connections between Meghan and Diana comes through Prince Harry. Harry has often said that he sees similarities between his wife and his late mother. In interviews, Harry has praised Meghan's compassion, empathy, and determination, saying these qualities remind him of Diana.
It's perfect.
What do you think your mother would have thought of Meghan or said about Meghan?
At least they'd be thick as thieves. Without question. I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, so excited for me. But then, as I said, would have probably been best friends with Meghan. So no, it is days like today when I really miss having her around and miss being able to share the happy news. But with the ring and with everything else that's going on, I'm sure she's with us, jumping up and down.
He has also explained that both women experienced extraordinary levels of media attention after becoming part of the royal family. Because these comments come directly from Harry rather than outside commentators, they have reinforced public comparisons. However, critics argue that constantly comparing Meghan to Diana creates unrealistic expectations and places enormous pressure on both women.
So Meghan's version of this phase of Diana's public image was to reignite complaints about the media to Harry, specifically. She wanted to challenge stories that were true but negative, and perhaps most telling, she leaked information and stories to Omid Scobie for the Finding Freedom book. And then she lied that she did that to a judge. She tried to cover up and hide that she gave Omid Scobie stories. But during this time, she and Harry denounced the media at every opportunity. They began being outwardly rude to them and playing games or being manipulative. Most prominently about things like the birth of Archie and who his godparents were going to be and the christening and things like that and the pregnancy, which backfired. Their choice to be defiant and unnecessarily difficult during the announcement of Archie's birth only fueled surrogacy speculation.
Another reason for the discussion involves stepping away from royal duties. Princess Diana's relationship with the royal institution changed dramatically following her separation from King Charles, then Prince Charles. Although Diana remained enormously popular worldwide,
by some accounts, this evolved into a mutually beneficial relationship for Diana and the media, as she pushed narratives into the media during her fallout with Charles to expose or frame, depending on how you look at it, herself as the completely innocent party in the deterioration of the relationship, which then thrust criticisms onto Charles. But on the surface, a lot of her media relationships and experience with the press was pretty intense and probably felt quite negative in some ways. Though, of course, there is the side of it where there is a lot of attention on her, where she got a lot of attention and perhaps, in theory, could have felt fed in a way through that attention in the media.
She gradually established a more independent public role. Similarly, Meghan and Harry stepped back as senior working royals in 2020 and relocated to California, where they have built careers involving media production, charitable projects, business ventures, and public speaking. Some commentators describe this as following Diana's independent path outside the palace. Others argue the situations are fundamentally different because Diana remained closely connected to official royal responsibilities, whereas Harry and Meghan chose a new life outside the institution. Media interviews have also fueled comparisons. Diana's famous 1995 BBC Panorama interview dramatically changed public understanding of her struggles inside the royal family.